Hey guys, today we're checking out what the meta looks like and who are the best champions, at least for solo queue right now in 8.13. Timestamps and a list of champions are going to be down below. I know you guys don't play every single role, so it's fine if you want to skip to one. They're all in the description. I just wanted to let you know as well that Nubria has got this offer on right now where you can buy a zone or a charge pack and get the other completely free. Zone is the one that I've been using for the past few months, so it's helped me with my headaches and staring at the screen all day. Charge is one I sometimes use before I stream to give me a little kick, but there's way more info down below and how to redeem the offer if you want to check it out. So the new Aatrox seems to have had a rough start, by the way. Let me know what it's like in your game so far, but his win rate is really bad. It looks like he might actually be quite decent with items, but obviously this meta is quite fast right now and it doesn't go late game that often. That's also one of the issues surrounding AD carries right now, but there is hope it's getting a little bit better. Jinx got some really good buffs in 8.13 that are probably honestly a tad too much. So a key rocket bonus damage can now actually crit, which also ties into Stormrazor, and her W uses 20% more of your total AD. I've been abusing her a bunch this patch. I'm like 9 or 10 wins and 2 losses so far. You can actually carry games with her, and even if your team gets behind, there's always a chance you're going to come back. I really like that she is so good at just Stormrazor now, and then when you pick up a Runins, it's honestly a joke. You can guarantee crit all 3 rockets on all 3 Runins bolts with Stormrazor, so literally team-wide AoE guaranteed crit. Buffs that she had ages ago have made her better mid-game as well, so that's even better for right now. She also has her passive reset, which helps a ton in fights, and now these new buffs on top of that altogether make her much better. I want to mention Draven today because I think he's the only AD that is actually worth a ban currently on this patch. He's even better now than he was before in 8.12. He can go so hyper aggressive at 1 and 2 items and match the rest of the map. So what I mean is like mid laners and junglers and top laners, they're all very strong at 1 item now in the game. That's kind of why we picked them. Draven is the same though, but other AD carries aren't. Going Bloodthirster or Stormrazor as your first 2 items are nuts. Like the healing, the AD, the crits, it's just a little bit too much. The way to beat him is really to poke him, stay away from him, or burst him down. Both those things most AD carries do not have, so when you fight, he almost always wins. I genuinely think that he is a little bit too strong at the moment. If he gets ahead, which he probably will actually, his passive makes sure he gets even further ahead, and there's not much you can do to shut him down. For my honorable mentions for AD carries though, Misfortune is a lot like Draven, a strong lane bully who will always have some impact in the game. Lucian was definitely hurt by the nerfs this patch, but still top tier in my opinion. He's not quite as strong, but he can carry, he can bully with the lead. Jhin is a little bit better now as well in 8.13, especially with Hail Blades. It's really cool actually as a keystone, and he has some really good synergy with more aggressive supports. As with last time, I kind of have to add in this 6th role kind of bot lane carries, I guess. So these are the best ones you can play bot lane as the carry role, but aren't AD carries. Swain is probably the most busted one at the moment, but also the most underrated choice to take as the bot laner. There is almost no chance an AD carry will be able to burst through your ultimate healing, but there is almost no chance of you not killing them during it as well. Combination of like too tanky and too much damage flying around for the champion really to deal with bot lane, but he also does well with the damage support. There are a few lanes that can stop him, but they are more bursty really. Any champion that wants to do damage over time, even like a Kai'Sa who is pretty good at the moment, is mega screwed until late game. Yasuo is also a nightmare because of his passive shielding and wind wall. With AD carry base stat nerfs, he can actually survive the lane phase much easier than before. Yasuo bot lane isn't necessarily a brand new thing on this patch. We tried it before. It was just AD carries could bully him too hard, which doesn't happen now. He'll also scale well into the game and provide as much damage as a traditional AD really, especially with some setup from your support. Heimer is also really good. Trades pure kill pressure for like insane control. You can't really gank him, you can't really fight him easily, and you can't stop him pushing and taking a tower either. Mordekaiser though is so busted when played correctly. Quite hard, but double Targons and his healing and his shield means you're not going to poke him down that easily, but he can easily kill you if he does get close. Mid lane is a centerpiece of the game, how it is played right now. I know it's mid, so center of the map, but that's not really what I mean. It's so crucial to have a strong lane that can fight and roam when you need it. Zoe is going to kick us off, and probably one of the highest gaps between normal win rate, like for everybody, and a win rate on a really good player. Lichbane is a lot more common now, but so is going for more full AP and burst. Last patch, we had a small change to her W, which more than anything would make her team fight a little bit weaker when she's using a lot of summoners. Still though, she has an insane amount of pressure and can kind of control the game herself herself, it's very hard to play against a Zoe. If you don't have vision, she's going to sleep you from a mile away. She's going to burst you down. Even if you do have vision, she's going to try it anyway, really, and eventually she will land one. She does well even early into the game, no matter what build you go for, and as long as you play that sort of like catch or pick game rather than full on engage, it can be really easy. Zed is basically the opposite of what I just said, really. Thanks to those tabby nerfs a while ago, even if you buy them, he can still nuke you down with his full combo. Normally we talk about Talon for this one. They're very similar, but I think Zed is way more balanced. A good Zed player is extremely scary to play against. There aren't that many options for you to grab against him without going like full on Guardian Angel and not bringing as much damage anymore. He lanes well, he can grow a lead from there, can kind of roam and then use it around the map, but the game is still way more focused on damage and burst more than anything else. While there aren't that many ways to stop him killing you, I think he is going to be good, but you can shut him down if he messes it up. Faster games, tabby nerfs, wave clear nerfed, AD carries weaker. It's just like a wet dream for an assassin. It's exactly the same reason why Talon is good in the game. I think we should see some Talon nerfs eventually, like his damage is a bit too easy to get off for how much it actually does. So Anivia actually does decent versus assassins, so I want to talk about her as my honorable mention. It's not just her egg, but obviously yes, that does help a lot. Most assassins have damage to kill you on long cooldowns. They burn them to get you to your egg, and they probably don't have the damage to do it again, or not very quickly anyway. It isn't actually her damage, even though that is very good as well. A lot of mages had their mana and wave clear nerfed, so they couldn't push people in, and it opened up the game a bit more. Anivia's Q was actually buffed to clear that even better for wave clear, so she can control and shove those assassins in and contain them in her lane. Having a strong jungler is also very important in this meta, normally one that can duel, can kind of fight for the crab and gank as well. Remember, most games are decided based on early leads. Kindred has been buffed a ton recently. I'll spare you what I keep saying to everybody in every video, but the short version is your W heals again, and also they were buffed 3 patches in a row. Warrior Runins is the most common item build at the moment. You get to farm so fast, you shred in teamfights as well. Crit is definitely making a return though, and a more single target focus build to actually nuke one person. Warrior, Stormrazor after, and then Rapid Fire Cannon into Infinity Edge. It is so glass cannon, but it is so much damage. Stormrazor makes a lot of sense, and Rapid Fire Cannon with it is a long range crit for a bit of poke or to start a fight. Your damage is nuts, obviously. Your ultimate is a good counter to one-shot assassins we have at the moment in the meta. Crab control is amazing, so the pick does make a lot of sense anyway. Nocturne is definitely meta though by this point. I took a few patches, but now we have one of the best junglers you can play. His ultimate buffs ages ago that increased the duration of the blackout were insane. It is such a long time to be blind in a fight. Pretty easy to play as well, not hard to duel people as long as you hit your Q, and then obviously you have your fear. You can farm super fast. You're nice and healthy with your passive, which means more ganking time, and if you find anybody, you stand a higher chance of actually beating them. Your ultimate also means you don't even have to be smart about ganks. You literally wander down the lane and you ultimate in. Or the other side of this, which is even better, you don't even have to be ready for a counter gank perfectly. You can just be kind of nearby and you'll be able to get there to swing it around. We've talked about Taliyah a lot recently. She is still by far the top tier jungler right now. Your damage is nuts, ganks are really good, and so is her farming. Graves is floating around probably just under those ones. Still good, but not quite as good as a ganker as the others in here. Wukong is probably the most popular he has ever been, I think. He hasn't been played properly in a long time. Same reasons why Zed and Talon are very good, and no good answer to stacking lethality, and these assassins can really abuse Stormrazor as well. The difference to other junglers that we've talked about is he is not the best early game, but he can still gank kind of, but even if behind, once you get a few items, you will be able to come in and stand a good chance to one-shot somebody and turn the game back around. Moving into the support role now, they are way more important in the game with how AD carries are. They are often the ones that are going to decide the lane phase and make life very easy or very difficult. Fiddle is a perfect example of that. One of the more well-rounded supports we have, even though that sounds a bit weird. His fear is just kind of broken. If you try and gank him, he'll fear and run away. If you try and 2v2, he'll fear and run. If he's the one engaging though, he can fear to set the entire thing up and you can't really outplay that. Then you've got the endless poke, and it really is endless when the mana cost is so low. He's actually a very good counter to a lot of damage supports. He can poke them down himself from range, bounce them off minions and stuff, but also very good versus engage. He can just fear and stop it completely. Brand is worth a mention as well because he is anti-fun to play against. He is so oppressive. Especially at lower ranks, you've really got to all in and focus him down, but most of the time you're probably going to get poked too low to actually do that. It's not just that poke, right? If he ever stuns you and gets his passive off, you're probably going to be dead. It's so strange when you gank a lane with Brand support, you kind of have to focus him first. He is way more of a threat than the AD carry, honestly, and that about sums up why it works. Morgana is also anti-fun to play against, but for a different reason. She doesn't let you do anything. Her bind combo can be enough to get her kills, but if you try and do anything yourself, Black Shield is going to block it and shut it down. Nami is the last one here, has her heal to help a bad AD carry through the lane phase, but she can use that to bully herself. She can set a lot of things up with the crowd control and also protect if she needs to. Sona is my honorable mention, and normally one of the late game picks that we focus on because she's absolutely broken when you get to level 16 and the aura spam really kicks in. Athene's got a really nice buff though, and if you rock that as your first item, she is much better early game, mid game as well, damage wise, and keeps up with the other damage picks. AD carry is also coming back a little bit more, which means the sensor you're going to buy is going to help more, but I honestly think Athene's is the big thing here. More of an aggressive build is helping the most. So top laners seem to be much happier now. AD carries are not ripping them apart as easily, and we have a lot of stuff that is good. Garen is going to kick us off, and he was actually better last patch. We mentioned him as an honorable mention, I think, but now with everybody playing him more for the new skin, it's way more obvious. This is mostly down to the Sterix change. We talked about that last patch, but I think Black Cleaver and Sterix is a really good 2-item power spike. The new Sterix gives bonus AD instead of base. That is why it works more than anything else and why it didn't work before. Right now, Garen is winning a lot of bruiser or tank matchups where he can run, slap them, and then run away, beating stuff like Aatrox, Ornn, but even Irelia and Jax. Fiora is the opposite end of the spectrum, a little bit more complex, kind of, but also uses the new Sterix as well. The bonus AD feeds into your entire kit is so much better than the old one for it, even though we are actually pairing it with a Trinity. Bit different to Garen, she's a lot better as the game goes on because she uses items so well and scales so well. The game has slowed down a tiny bit this patch. She goes even though or beats a lot of bruisers for now, and is a true carry top laner that will do the work herself. You don't really need your team that much. Darius, of course, is going to be good at the moment because he's the other person in the Versus event legendary skin, but he has been good for ages, to be fair. Massive lane bully and better with the new Sterix as well. Mundo is your meat shield pick if you want to just kind of cheese your elo by playing a tank. Watch the LTK, see what it's like, and when he gets to 3 items, he never ever dies. It's ridiculous, and he can actually be more aggressive than a lot of people think. So that is going to wrap up a look into the meta for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but let me know what you would have changed down below, who you think deserves to be in what role and why. Thank you for watching the video, but for now, I will leave you with the robots.